Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Duels. Just wanted to quickly apologize for my really inconsistent upload schedule over the past few days, well, few weeks I guess. I don't know, school's been hammering me a bunch and I've had almost no free time, so it's been kind of a catastrophe. Hopefully with this video, I should be somewhat repairing my upload schedule. I don't know if I'm gonna upload every 4 days like I was doing for a while, since I've tried to focus on making my videos a bit better, with it really only impacting the upload schedule by a day or two. So I've been trying to opt for that a little more. Hopefully this video will actually come out on time, because I'm literally recording it less than a minute after I've uploaded my previous video, so this should definitely be out within the 4-day schedule that I had previously established. Past that, let's get into what I actually want to go over today. So I just kind of wanted to talk about my experience with classic duels so far, since my previous video I kind of talked about Skywars duels and stuff, and it was initially just meant to be more of my overall experience on duels, but I mainly play classic and Skywars, and they're two very different game modes, so it ended up just mostly being about Skywars, since that was the game mode I was playing. So, now I'm playing classic, so I might as well talk about that. Because, I've been playing, Hypixel duels for over a year now, and I've gone through a decent bit with this game. I'm a classic legend. At this point, I have over 2,100 wins, and a stupid amount of losses. I've kind of lost track, Regardless, I'm, slowly reaching the point of being an average player. It's, kind of a crawl at this point. It isn't like Skywars duels, where you can rely on people killing themselves to, get you any ranks, since in Skywars duels, people are constantly falling off. If you just play, you'll get handed wins just by just going on. But you gotta really try. In classic, look at this fight. This is so close. I have no idea what's going on. Wait, why am I trying to do any of this? I can bow this guy and miss all my shots horribly, because I am garbage. If I had more HP, I'd kind of get him running, but, we're literally on the same health. Okay, I have 1 heart more than him, which kind of makes a difference here because of how close it is, but still. Look at that. That was, a really intense back and forth fight. You get that in Skywars duels, but not really as much because of how chaotic everything is. Classic duels is very much a test of skill. There's nothing really intervening outside of, I guess, lag sometimes that could really throw you off. There's no outside forces. That was the worst bow shot of my life. Yeah. I don't necessarily know if I completely hate the bow in classic duels, but I do kind of find it annoying to spam at the beginning of rounds. I made a whole video about why that's annoying. I will say, classic duels is so much more stressful for recording videos. I mean, the thing about classic duels is that sometimes things just go badly, and because it's completely reliant on skill, I have to kind of really push to do well in it, otherwise there isn't really much to keep the video interesting. Because, Skywars duels is more beyond, the PvP that can keep things, spicy and interesting, with everything that's going on. But classic duels, it's exclusively PvP. So it's if I'm not performing well, I kind of stress more because there isn't as much to keep the viewer engaged. Honestly, these days, I feel like I perform well enough that I'm able to, make most fights interesting, and if something goes horribly, I can always just cut it out of the video. Not even necessarily because I want to hide the fact that I'm bad at the game. Just because, I want to keep the video interesting, and I assume it gets boring watching, someone just, fail every round all the time. Doesn't strike me as the most interesting content ever. I feel like there's a consistent theme across my videos where I begin to talk about something and then I just kind of ramble on about it, and I don't even totally make the points I want to make. Because, as much as I wanted to talk about, my video experience with classic duels, I did not go into this video with that plan. I mainly wanted to talk about my experience with getting into classic duels and stuff, but now I've just been, rambling on about how stressful it is to record it sometimes and stuff, and, that's just not what I intended. But, I kind of get sidetracked in live commentary with everything that's going on. But anyway, I should actually get into, actually what I want to talk about. Because, when I first started playing classic duels, if you're a viewer who's watched any of my videos, you probably heard me mention at some point that I really hadn't played any Minecraft on the PC or multiplayer PvP stuff before Duels. You know, I was kind of just throwing myself into the deep end here because I had, like, no history. When it came to, like, PvP and stuff, you know, stop ruining my video and just fight. But, you know, like, I was real bad at the game when I first started. I was kind of like this, where I could, like, barely hit people or do anything. But, you know, my logic always was, yeah, I'm terrible at it, and I'm gonna be, like, really terrible for a while, but most people would probably just stop in, like, most circumstances just because, you know, it's just, like, death on loop. There ain't much going on. And, you know, most people would be like, this ain't for me. But I knew I was throwing myself in the deep end. I knew how it was gonna go from the beginning. Thing is that I went in exactly knowing how horrible things would go. Like, I was totally aware of, like, vast amounts of failures I would be facing for a while. But since I'm kind of going in with the knowledge ahead of time that, yeah, this is exactly how it's gonna play out, and I'm fully aware that I'm throwing myself into the deep end when it comes to, like, Minecraft skill and PvP and stuff, I can basically just accept the failures and kind of just keep moving because, yeah, things are gonna be pretty terrible at first, and they absolutely were. I had, like, a 1 in 30 win rate. It was the most, like, horrific thing to watch ever. Like, you know, you think my gameplay now is garbage? Like, at least I somewhat consistently win. It's not like a miracle when I do it. But, like, before, it was like a total, like, gift from the heavens if I ever won anything. But, you know, over time, I've slowly gotten more into duels and, you know, maybe it's taken a while because I've basically just been getting destroyed on loop and just slowly over the time adapting. But, you know, since there was so much to adapt to at once, it was a very, very steep learning curve. Bruh. Why do people do this, though? Like, there's statistically no way you win just running away. Like, I had full HP, he had half a heart. There was no universe where he manages to heal all the way up. And over time, I'm not amazing. I still get destroyed by most MVP++s, but that's to be expected. I mean, if you're paying $30 a month for a rank, you're probably good at the game. That's the only rank I'm really afraid of anymore. Back when I was just starting out, I'd basically see anyone with a rank above non, and I'd be like, oh god, this person actually bought a rank for the server. I'm screwed. Nowadays, I feel like MVP++ is the only thing I can determinedly say is, like, actually, like, a death sentence. You know, I've always had the motivation to, like, play past it, all, like, the death and stuff in terms of, like, my failures. Hey, look, see? MVP++. I'm not completely garbage. I'm actually able to beat an MVP++. But anyway, as I was saying, like, you know, I've generally been able to push past, like, most of the failure when it comes to it. It's a little more annoying on YouTube because I'm trying to make entertaining videos, so there's more of, like, a price to the failure. Geez, that was a really delayed arrow shot from me. Like, I swear I got that ding like an hour after I fired. But, you know, I feel like generally I'm able to push past most of the stuff outside of, like, YouTube. Even then, though, I've gotten pretty good with dealing with losses on YouTube since it sometimes stresses me out, but I feel like I'm mostly able to perform under pressure. You know, the thing about me is I'm able to perform under pressure, I just don't like being under pressure. I might be miserable, but I'm not doing terrible. I mean, I'm playing pretty bad, but, like, you know. Thing about classic duels as well is that generally it's really fast when you aren't getting bow spammers who, like, actively just destroy everything. Though even then, I've kind of given up on trying to dodge the bow spammers' arrows and instead just rush them anyway because I just don't care. I have places to be, I have people to fight, I don't need to spend like an hour on one person, because that's what classic duels is. It's quick, punchy fights. You know, you play, you die, you win, it's over. Like, that's why I always take such issue with the people who just run, or the people who bow spam. They're just actively destroying the fundamental appeal of classic duels. You just have a rod, a sword, you die in pretty few hits, you know, it's a pretty quick battle. Things just go by, and then you keep going. There isn't much, like, to keep you around. Maybe there's a bit of a drawn-out bow fight at the end sometimes. Okay, whatever. I'm just rushing. Oh, he still has some bow. I mean, at least he didn't open with the bow, and I used the bow as well, so it's hard to, like, complain. But, you know, it's still needlessly drawing out the fights. It's, you know, I still won in the end. But, you know, that's the only real stuff that kind of really gets on my nerve when it feels like just the fundamental aspect that makes classic duels even, like, remotely good. Because, you know, in most circumstances, I think people kind of diss classic duels because it's like, okay, this person's hope has just been shattered. But, like, most people diss classic duels because it's, like, boring or whatever. But, you know, I feel like the speed of rounds makes up for, like, the blandity in terms of, like, items and stuff. You know, it's just quick, punchy rounds. You're fighting different types of people. It's different skill sets. That's what really makes the variety in classic. You know, you fight one person who's, like, good at the rod. 10 seconds later, you fight someone who's, like, more sword-based. Then you meet someone who can, like, actually block or crit and stuff. You know, there's always something going on. And, you know, there's, like, quick different fights. The only time classic really gets boring is, like, if it's two pros fighting who end up rodding each other for 17 years. Because they both mastered the art of Infinirodding and both have, like, a 100 win streak and neither want to give it up. So they're just, like, committed to the most painful fight ever. Only being surpassed by bow spams in terms of, like, wasted time. But honestly, I've gotten to a point where I basically pushed past most of the people who I think kind of used to really delay the fight. Because, you know, I used to really hate bow spammers because I would just try and dodge them. Well, that was just an amazing connection right there. You know, I think I used to hate bow spammers more because I would typically try to, like, dodge them rather than just push past it. And it would cause all the fights to be dragged out way more than they should have, which just made the whole thing incredibly boring in terms of, like, a playing experience. And because I had a 1 in 30 win rate, it really just made, like, the whole experience awful fun. But now that I win more consistently and I am pretty good when it comes to, like, shortening rounds. So now I think I've basically been able to achieve that fast, punchy feeling that I think makes classic duels pretty fun. So anyway, click an end card screen if you want to see, like, one of my other duels videos. Because, you know, you got this far, so I assume you're going to like the other ones.